Welcome to Mirabell Palace here in Salzburg, Austria. This is yet another of the filming locations of The Sound of Music, especially the exteriors, which we're going to walk around the gardens. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist, and oh my, I'm super hyped to explore parts of this palace and its surrounding areas. Here we can see one of the courtyards right outside this window. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Right now we're in Salzburg, Austria, about an hour and 40 minutes away from Munich by train. He was born and he lived a large portion of his life, and also the filming location and setting for The Sound of Music. Both the play took place here, the musical took place here, and also the film took place here and was shot on location. So let's explore beautiful Mirabell Palace and the surrounding areas and see the bridges also right by the riverside. So welcome Emily, welcome Chris, welcome MZ, welcome Hannah, welcome Mika. Nice to see you here. Welcome Kay. Let me know, would you live here? That's how I'll be resting if I lived here. That's how I'll be laying down. This is me reaching for the beer after this live video. And that's me fighting for the last beer after last call. Hello Susie, nice to see you here. Hello MZ, hello Pythagorean. This is Good Morgan from Toronto. Hey Irene, hello Lizzo, Kevin, Adam, Hannah, Pythagorean, Daniel, Oleg, MZ. Wow, we got so many people tuning in. Welcome everyone. Was that marble or ivory? I think it was marble. That's how it felt to the touch. I'm not 100% sure. So right now we are in Mirabell Palace, which is the other side of the river. We'll see the castle soon from the other side of the river. It's a breathtaking view, but let's go first to the garden, which is amazing as well. Cindy says, so happy you're in Salzburg. I'm happy to be in Salzburg, for sure. Firestorm, nice to see you here. So this is a day trip for me, and I just found out that it is very doable as a day trip. Especially if you come in very early, take the 7 a.m. train from Munich, or if you're staying here for a night, but take the 7 a.m. train from Munich if you're doing a day trip from Munich, and take a night train, and I think you'll be able to visit most of the spots because everything's pretty close. I haven't seen everything because I'm going a little bit slower. I'm doing these live videos, but it is doable as a day trip. Hey, Ron. Ron is asking if Salisbury steak has any connection. So the word does, but Salisbury is another place in Europe, and the steak was something popularized in America. But SAL stands for salt. Salzburg means the city of salt. And then the river is Salzach, which means the salt river. Not because it is a salty river, but because this city was a hub of salt mines and the salt trade. And or I'm not sure if mines were within the city limits, but they were nearby, and salt was traded. Salt supply, or the business of salt. Salary, someone who makes money from salt. How much are tickets? I didn't pay to go into this palace. I thought there were gonna be tickets, but no, there was no payment. Go around this way. So the exteriors of this palace is one of the filming locations of The Sound of Music, the popular musical film from the 1960s. Won a bunch of Academy Awards. It's known as one of the greatest films ever made, and I agree with that. Starring Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer, two great actors. Susie says nothing beats free. Yeah, just get yourself the Salzburg card right over here. Cost me about 32 euro, and includes for 24 hours. You can buy a 2-day or 3-day one. And includes all public transportation, includes most of the museums, if not a heavy discount on the museum, and it includes like the tram, the funicular, a boat tour. It includes a lot. This is a very generous city pass. Usually city passes in most cities actually are not worth it, in my opinion. This is one of the few cities where it is. And for the castle, I did not pay extra. So the castle was fully included with the pass. In other cities in the US or in Europe, the castle alone would be 30 euro. Adam says, I hope there are 4-day passes. Ooh, I'm not sure. Adam, you probably wouldn't need 4 days in Salzburg. Even if you're going very slow in the city and taking your sweet time, you'll do it in pretty much 2 days, maximum 3. I don't think you'll need more than that. Unless if you're skiing or doing some other hiking trips nearby. So this is one of the this is a sculpture garden. Rosalba says, good morning, Ariel. What a beautiful place. Have a great day. I definitely will. I definitely will. I have definitely seen older ladies like this in New York City. Matt, nice to see you here. It is said, according to legend, that if you wander here in the wee hours of the very early morning, around 3:27 a.m., these grotesques and gnomes come to life. They will lure you into this circle, but by all means, do not go into the grassy circle, especially during that time, because many people have been lost. They have gone into the circle and have come back. Years have passed. They have grown old and withered. All their family has died. Time is completely different once you enter the circle. So by all means, do not get in there. Okay, I'm just joking. I just made that up. Hopefully, these do not come to. These do not come to life. Hey, Matt says, today the Mirabelle Palace houses the offices of the Salzburg mayor and the municipal administration. Thank you so much for letting us know. Leopold Mozart and his children Wolfgang and Narner, which is Mozart's sister. Mozart and his sister performed here. Oh, wow, that's amazing. So, Matt, thank you for leaving extra information. Matt says that in the movie of Sound of Music, Maria and the children dance around the fountain singing Do, Re, Mi. The Pegasus fountain next to the 17th century palace can also be spotted in the movie. The stairs leading up to the Rose Hill were part of the choreography. Yes! So we are walking the very hallowed grounds of the Sound of Music. Emily says, so a stream at 3:27 it is, yes. And this guy will lead us into the otherworldly realm. He seems friendly. Maybe he needs a drink. Doe, a deer, a female deer. That is the song that they sing here at Mirabelle Palace. Hey, a playground. Hey, Cynthia says, that was a great story. I believed you. I had to make something up. I have not heard any haunted history here in Salzburg yet. So. Legend has it that if you see a piece of cake laying around these grounds, do not take it, because it's a trap. That cake will consume you and take you to that otherworldly realm, as I told you before, which you'll be forced to dance forever, for years, with the fairies. So beware of the piece of cake. Ooh, cake. Oh. No. Okay, no. No cake.
das ist, naja, aber
MZ says, I can't wait to see you in Japan. So many stories you would make up here. Okay, everyone, the musical is about to start. the Von Traps are here. Hey, Bon Michel says, too late for me. The cake cast its spell on me many years ago. Susie says, I call my family the Von Trapped. Oh, that's funny. Hey, Tiger says, will you be going to the house where Mozart was born? I did visit it. I passed by it in the first live stream. So check out that live stream after this one. I couldn't go in on live video, but I will be posting clips of the museum on Instagram. So follow me on Urbanist Live, at Urbanist Live. So the Maribel Palace was rebuilt to be a lavish Baroque style from 1721 to 1727. Cindy says, such a good movie. Yes, great movie. Hey, these make hearts. That's cool. Omar, good morning. Omar asks, am I in Europe? Indeed I am. I wish this were the Bronx. The Bronx could have been like this. There were plans, but no, alas, we're not in the Bronx in New York City. We are in Salzburg, Austria, in Europe. And this is another area where it would have appeared on film during that same number. Maureen says, good day, Ariel. Thank you so much for taking me on tours. It's my absolutely deepest pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much all for your kind contributions throughout the years. It's such a pleasure to show you the world. Hey, Kira is tuning in. Welcome, Kira. A deer, a female deer. That's the only words I know from Do Re Mi. But the hills are indeed alive with music. I wish I knew the words, but I don't sing on these broadcasts. These broadcasts are very serious broadcasts where I say no jokes. No singing, there's no dancing, no having fun here. This is serious live streams. But I wish I knew the words to Do Re Mi. Hey, Nicole says, I was only once in Salzburg. Well, I hope you do come again. Omar says, is this Arnold's city? No, Arnold Schwarzenegger is from, as far as I know, the city of Graz. He's not from Salzburg. He's from deeper into Austria. Hence the accent. You won't hear Arnold Schwarzenegger's like accent here. So I think right over there is another. So Susie says the next line is Ray, a drop of golden sun. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Far a long way to run. I have no idea if I got the beat right. Hey, Mika said, have your apple strudel yet? No, I have not. I'm excited. I'm going to have that big apple strudel. JJ says, bonjour, guten tag, good morning. All the things. All the things. Kira says it was very good. Oh, thank you. I'll need a real life Maria to teach me the ways of Do-Re-Mi. I wonder how the coffee is there, says MZ. MZ! Austria. I've been to Vienna before, and I just had one coffee so far here. Coffee here so far has been really good. I have no doubts that coffee in general is good in Austria. Ooh, mountains! Oh my god. The skies are clearing finally. Oh, we can see the mountains. Yeah, the hills are alive with music. Lizzo says, developers and architects don't get it. They need to design cities like this. Hey Lizzo, someone was paying attention to my Munich live stream yesterday. yes, we do. Architects do need to learn how to build like this. We can build like this. This is not old style. This can be recreated today. It should be recreated. It inspires and uplifts people for good reason. It's architecture that works, and we should lean into architecture that already works. It's a beautiful thing to experiment, but if we just keep hammering in these terrible experimentations of modernism, we will have soulless cities across the world, and Europe will be the only bastion of classical architecture. I don't want that. Europe should not be the only place with classical architecture or neoclassical architecture. We should have it in more places around the world. Miss Lob says, woohoo, I was watching the earlier stream and I just noticed the notification. Hey, thank you so much. Hey, Jared says, are you talking about Maria from the West Side Story? No. Lots of Marias in musicals. That's what I've learned. You'll be guaranteed to find the La Marias in two places, Broadway and Greece. Lots of Marias in those two places. Roxanne is putting the lyrics, says, doe, a deer, a female deer, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, fa, a long way to run, so, a needle pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so, tea, a drink with jam and bread. Oh, okay. Yeah, my singing quota is up, ladies and gentlemen. If you bribe me with more beer and apple strudel, then maybe we can reconsider extending that singing quota throughout the day. Susie says, perfect pitch. I do my best, Susie. I do my best. The more apple strudel I get into my system, the better the singing will get. Firestorm says, I didn't know Ariel could sing. Oh my god, these gardens are just so deeply beautiful that I just want to be here for a long time. Hey, Jer says he sings pretty good too. Joe says as a singer, Ariel's a good vlogger. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone. No need to stand. No need to stand. It's okay. No need for a standing ovation. It's okay. Mika says, wow, you were up there. Indeed I was, yeah. I climbed that castle. Climbed with my bare hands. And my feet and my calves feel better than ever. Emily says, well, who needs the Von Traps when we've got Ariel? Lizzo says 8 for effort. Thank you so much, Lizzo. I appreciate that. I forgot how wonderful a relaxation this country is as Atlantic. Yeah, I really now want to visit more of Austria. Austria doesn't have that many big cities. It's a pretty small country, actually. Vienna is huge, but aside from that, there's not that many big cities in Austria. But I would love to see more of the mountains, the Austrian Alps. And make my way to Switzerland, just like the Von Traps. Do the path of the Von Traps. Hey, Mater says, until today, I had no intention of ever watching The Sound of Music. Now I have to watch it. You know, same thing for me. I've only become a fan of movie musicals in the past like 5 years. I used to not like them. La La Land was one of the ones that really kind of tuned me into movie musicals. What was it, the other one? I saw another one that really blew me away. Oh, Les Mis, when it came out with Hugh Jackman, blew me away personally. I know it's a movie that people hate or love to hate, but I really loved it genuinely. So movie musicals, I just got into it 5 years ago or so, and I never really had too much interest in Sound of Music because to me it's a long movie. It's 3 hours, and it felt like, oh my god, this is kind of very old style. But no, those movie musicals from the late 50s, early 60s, like Singing in the Rain as well, and there's a few others. They're truly great musicals. They're truly great musicals. Truly great musicals. Sound of Music, it's breathtaking. The set pieces that they do, the singing and dancing and these long shots. The acting is incredible by Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer. The Von Trapp kids as well. And the movie's kind of moves you. It's one of those classic movies that have a really positive message to them. A message of joy and connection and love and persistence and resilience against all odds. A movie that shows the beauty of caring for others. And that's why I think that movie is just excellent. No wonder it's known as one of the greatest films of all time. It says, hope you're well. Susan, I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Joe says, West Side Story. Yes, West Side Story is another great, there's a lot of great movie musicals out there. West Side Story. Someone mentioned Evita. Evita I have not seen yet. I've seen Singing in the Rain. I was blown away by Singing in the Rain as well. Hey, MZ says, I only saw the beginning of your castle climb. Can't wait to see the rest. Yeah, I hope you do. It was a good climb. Now I have calves of steel. Hey, this is, I can't say the name of this statue because it'll get me in trouble with the algorithm. This is the R of Persephone, kind of looks like it, by Hades. Joe says, did you get a good night's sleep? I slept well, but short. I was doing some work until the wee hours of the night. Slav says, I've attended a sing-along of Sound of Music. Anyone else? They are a hoot. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard of these sing-along movie screenings. Daniel, nice to see you here. Oh, this is a gorgeous fountain. This all says they encourage people to come into these sing-along movie screenings with a costume. I came wearing a pale pink coat. So you'll be happy to hear if you come to Salzburg, you can find yourself the hat that Maria wears in the movie. I've seen them in many stores. There's a few hat stores in the city center. Now, I wish I could find a jacket just like Captain Von Trapp because it looked really cool, his uniform. Mika says, I love the park gardens. Yeah, dude, this is one of the more beautiful city gardens I've seen. MZ says, oh, I saw a sing-along in New York on Halloween night, but didn't know the famous movie. You probably saw Rocky Horror Picture Show on Halloween night, if I were to guess. Or something like Little Shop of Horrors or something like that. So those were the gardens. Let's walk a little bit more through the city. See the city by the river. Okay, I had to mute. There was some popular music playing. Susie says, I've always wanted to attend a Grease sing-along. They have them in New York. The movie theaters like the Alamo Draft House, Nighthawk, have sing-alongs, and I've seen Grease before. I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen the showtime for it. Firestorm says, I need to travel to more European countries. Yes, you do. More copyright music. All right. These horse rides look like so much. Kate says, I wonder if the horses are happy doing it. Doing these horse rides. That's a good question. The horse riders will argue yes. All right, more copyright music. So here I think this might be the Mozart Bridge. I'm not 100% sure, but people are leaving locks of love. And wow, people are at the riverside. Welcome to the Salzburg River. The river of salt, it translates to. But it's not salty, it's a fresh water. It's rough though. I can imagine swimming in it might be tough. And these boat rides are included with the Salzburg Pass. Irene, thank you so much for the 50 stars. Hope one time in Galicia, Spain. Oh, I would love to go to Galicia. For sure, one time. There's a nice row of shops over here. A lot of jewelry, a lot of like dishware and ceramics. Really cool stuff. Hello Owen, nice to see you here. Welcome. Mika says you're not allowed to swim here. Yeah, I can imagine. It's way too rough. Hey, you're going to Spain for an entire month in October. Oh my, that's a long trip. I'm glad you are. Enjoy it. Miss Love says, aren't the salt mines here? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the salt mines are. They're within the vicinity of the city. Salt was traded here. A lot of wealth was made here because of salt. So if you see the end of the last live stream, I was right here. Wendy says, good to see you. Good to see you, Wendy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Susie says, I went to New Jersey last week. Oh, wow. Susie, nice. Where did you go? Beautiful Hoboken. Wonderful Jersey City. The majestic Newark. Jersey Shore by the seaside. Susie, you went to McGuire Air Force Base. Ah, cool. Terry says, love your travels. I watch the terrain on your walks. Hope to travel to see my cousin. Freiburg, Germany. Love your following and your success and your Peabody. Well deserved, says Terry. Thank you so much, Terry. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy watching the terrain while I walk around. You get a sense if it is walkable, if it's if one with mobility issues can get around. I think these live videos are a big help. I might not always remember to mention those things. I do take a lot for granted because luckily I do have the ability to walk easily, and I have good knees. I have good endurance when it comes to walking. So sometimes these things come to granted for me. I don't realize them, but mobility is a concern for some, and it's tricky to assess whether a city is easy to maneuver. So from what I've seen here in Salzburg, it does seem easy to maneuver, and there seems to be good accessibility in many restaurants and also in these museums. Not all of them, but the fortress had some accessibility. You can get into the funicular with a wheelchair and then get to those views. And then there's an elevator to go to the upper level of the castle, which is great. And then if you go to more of these bigger restaurants, you'll find accessibility here. There's usually a ramp somewhere. Yeah, over here there's a ramp, for example. So here you would need stairs. But if you notice, a lot of places do have a ramp so you can access. Or like this restaurant, the entrance is here where you speak to the hostess, but you can enter through here and access the restaurant as well. So that's a great thing about Salzburg. Not all cities are created equally though. Hey, PowerPoint says, just tuned in. What time is it? It's nearly 4 p.m. Joe says, I'm in the highlights for the Peabody Awards. Oh, cool. I'm glad I appear. I don't appear speaking. My colleague Carlo is the one who spoke to receive the award. But that's cool that it's there. Thank you so much, Joe, for linking it. Ooh, Mika. Oh, I lost track of time. It's 5:08 p.m. Thank you so much, Mika. Jer says, I work in healthcare and these videos are great for people who cannot get around. You are the eyes and legs for a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I love making these. One of the reasons I love making these videos is that I know that not everyone has the ability to walk around, to get around, the endurance to get around, the endurance to walk for a few hours, to hop around between different cities, different neighborhoods. And not everyone knows the context of the culture and history, so I'm happy to provide all those things in one single experience. Susie says, did I ride a tram yet? There's no tram here in Salzburg, I think. Only bus system. And yeah, no tram. I took the train in here, but no tram so far. There are like streetcar buses, so the buses are connected with the overhead cables. So they kind of run like streetcars, the buses. And it did take one, yes. And it was easy, it was fast, it was on time, it was comfortable. And it's included in the Salzburg Pass. There is a bus tour, hop on hop bus tour here, but it is not open, it's not double decker. So I'm not sure if it's too worth it. Yeah, that was a tram. I mean, sorry, a bus with overhead cables, so kind of a streetcar. George says, most of your strolls seem doable. They are not hard. Things to see to help push you go further. Yes. Yeah, one thing to remember is you usually don't remember when you're tired if you at least saw something awesome or were really in the present moment enjoying yourself. You won't remember the tiredness. You won't remember the pain in the knee necessarily. You won't remember the shortness of breath or or breathing heavily or whatnot. You won't remember those feelings of tiredness, exhaustion too much if you actually end up enjoying the area you're at and going to somewhere interesting. So keep that in mind whenever it seems like, oh my God, you're walking so much. You're starting to get into that headspace of like, oh, I hate this. Oh my God, this trip is tiring me out. Breathe, take it easy. Don't rush yourself. Maybe cancel one or two things. Don't cram the day. Take your time. But if you do take your time, stick through it, go to a few of these places, you will find out that a week later, you can't even remember how tired you were. You just remember seeing the castle, or you remember seeing Mozart's house, or going to that little restaurant in the corner. That's what you end up remembering. Wow, this is a very pretty Foot Locker. Oh my God. Carol says, looks like such a pretty place. Oh yes. This Foot Locker is built in a very ornate building. Wow, so beautiful. Mika says, those views remind me of Lyon. Yeah, Lyon has a very similar style with the river running through, a few bridges passing. Lyon is very reminiscent of these kind of medieval cities that really grew. So if you think about it, throughout different eras of human history, from ancient times and onwards, our major cities are built in specific locations according to what was the main thing that was traded or the main concern of the time. So in the Middle Ages and late Middle Ages, and definitely towards the Baroque era, there was a lot of dependency on river trade. So a lot of these bigger European cities from that era, I'm just guesstimating here, between 1400s to say about 1600s, most of those cities are along these type of rivers, and rivers that flowed a lot, had a heavy current, because this was before the age of the steam engine. So you needed a river that had a good flow to it in order to get to where you need to go and trade. So that's why you see cities like Salzburg, that's why you see Lyon. I came across a few of these cities in Italy, like Friuli as well. But then, when the steam engine came about in the 1800s, you did not need a very strong river. So you can do trade on the little bit calmer Harlem River, or the little bit calmer Hudson River, or these other rivers in Europe that are just a bit calmer, like the one right by Rotterdam. It's a bit calmer than this one over here. I'm guessing, this is my kind of theory, but and then you have people are photobombing. Then you have the era during the Byzantine era where there was a lot of raids from pirates, especially if you go around the Mediterranean. Those cities they needed to be built with protection in mind. So rather than building by the coast or by the river, they built high up in the mountains. And we saw a few of those cities in Greece, in the Greek islands as well. You see that in the Caribbean, and you see that in parts of Italy. So if you just take into consideration the era and the reason, the main concern at the time, that's where the city was built. In the 1700s and 1800s, most of the cities that were built because they were right by big harbors and deep harbors, because the ships had to be many feet into the water. So you need a very such as the harbors of what's another good example in Europe? Frankfurt, I think, might be an example. Let me know. Rotterdam is an example, I think. There might be a few great examples of cities built in the 1800s due to their deep harbors. So there we go. Let me know what you think. Tiger, yes, you're right. Hamburg, there we go. That's another great example. Hamburg is a deep water port city. You know, when people talk about nowadays, there's a lot of discourse about colonialism, conquest, the shifting tides of business and commerce that sometimes displace or change the demographics of an area. We are more susceptible, it's a hard word to pronounce, but we are more vulnerable to geography than we are to almost any other factor. Geography is the number one factor that we cannot control. We can do a lot. We can move places, and sometimes cultures do move because of the shortcomings of their local geography. But geography is something that is deeply influential on the success or detriment of a culture, of a society. So if you are in an area of the world where once these larger transcontinental ships were being built and they required deep harbors, if you did not have access to deep harbors, you did not have access to trade, and you did not grow your wealth. And that's the unfortunate case with many parts of Africa, for example. So Africa was left behind in the 1700s and 1800s because of that very factor. There's parts in the middle of the US that struggle because they don't have big rivers. So there's not gigantic cities in Wyoming. So you have to take into consideration that geography doesn't judge on skin color, it doesn't judge on economic class, it doesn't judge on culture, it doesn't judge on any other superficial factor. Geography doesn't judge, it just is. So here we're walking through an area filled with restaurants. This is amazing. I love this little area. Let's go back to that other street, which was, I think, very charming. Thank you so much, Tiger. Tiger says also Marseille and Rotterdam, the port cities. Yeah, so it's no coincidence Marseille, second largest city now in France. This is a nice little area. I like this. Ebrin says, ah, nice, the sanity of Salzburg. Yeah, it is a very sane place. Flying Squirrel says, so I want to visit here someday. Yeah, I hope you do. It is just stunning and beautiful. And I feel so relaxed just being here in the city. And longer hikes to become less stressful. Hey George, yeah. Sometimes it can be a bit shocking if you're traveling to a European city, you're not used to this amount of walking, because I know a lot of people in the States are used to driving everywhere and it's very easy to do so. Or you might be from a city where public transit is way more robust, like New York or Tokyo, where you don't really need to walk that much if you take public transportation. At least in Manhattan, at least probably in the center of Tokyo, center of Paris as well. But you might come to a city like this where you're forced to walk a little bit more. It might be shocking to the system immediately. So take it slow when you come to a city if you're not used to walking. But lo and behold, these cities are so beautiful, so charming, and so easy to stroll that you won't even realize how tired you are. You won't even be tired because of the beauty and the excitement and the vibrancy that you're walking through. Wendy says, have I missed the strudel? No strudel yet. Just strolling. Samurai says, any benches? It was raining earlier, so I saw a few benches, but it was too wet to sit on them. But I haven't seen too many benches yet. There's more benches along the waterfront, but not too many benches here. I learned so much from the discussions here. I love to travel, but I'm bad at geography, says MC. Salzburg is a Christmas capital of Austria, says Daryl. Yeah, I can imagine this is a popular Christmas destination, for sure. Miss Lob says the geography of a place can be good and bad. Take Iceland, for example. With great geothermal resources as well as tourist draw. There's always positives and negatives when it comes to any place you're settling in, any place you live. Remy says they miss Mozart's birthplace. That is in the beginning. That is in the first live video. Check it out. Jared says the discussions are great on this channel. Ariel isn't just giving us history. Ariel's also giving us history and cultural lessons. Hey man, I'm so happy, Jared. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad I can give a good cultural lesson as well. It's a nice little restaurant area. I'm digging this. So this is a pedestrianized street. This street most likely, if I were to speculate, probably had car traffic in the 70s. But due to the success of people loving to walk around, the draw of tourism to these pedestrian streets, and businesses realizing that they end up getting way more business if it's a pedestrianized street, they probably close the street off to traffic, and that's why we have a street like this. And this is the case in many cities all across Europe, and now the case increasingly so in many cities in the US, where we're pedestrianizing streets, like 42nd Times Square in New York, or 34th Avenue in Jackson Heights, Queens. That little street in downtown Brooklyn, I forgot the name of it. Ooh, what is this? A mausoleum? Oh wow. So this is what we need more in New York. For example, there's Koreatown, which is on 32nd Street in Manhattan, right by Herald Square. And cars still pass through there, and it's very, very crowded all the time because Koreatown is very popular. Lots of restaurants there, lots of fast food, lots of clubs, and it's a very popular area. Lots of tourists, lots of locals, people coming from all the 5 boroughs. They go to K-Town. But K-Town has a bunch of car traffic through, so you're crammed in when you're trying to get through there, and it's not as pleasant. If they were to close down 32nd Street between Broadway and 6th Avenue, if I'm correct, or 5th Avenue, between Broadway and 5th, you'll have something like this. Way more pleasant. Restaurants can spill out into the streets. Stores can also spill out into the streets. And you have just a more friendly environment rather than a noisy, crowded street that, yes, is fun, but could be better. All right, let's walk into the museum. Mausoleum. Okay, Google, play Mausoleum by Beirut. Alexa, play Mausoleum by Beirut. Wow. Oh my. I'm just joking with you. It's a beautiful mausoleum. Look at that. Wow. Wow, it's grand. Oh my God. It's huge. Oh, it's hard to take a peek. Wow. That's cool. Does it have a name? Yeah. Wolf Theodore Archie. That's the mausoleum, the person who's in there. Ebron says, was that the whistling cue? That was the whistling cue. Some people got it. Some people knew exactly what I was whistling. Other people were deeply, deeply confused. Someone left a super chat. Who was that? Thomas Jerome Newton with 2,200 Chilean pesos says, cul-de-sacs and back alleys are great for that. They are, yeah. Also, if you build them for car-centric suburbia. Imagine being here on a snowy, wintry day, hearing someone hum in the distance, the sound of music. As snowfall continues to pick up and gets more and more stronger, it starts accumulating more and more on the floor. The light dusting becomes a blanket of white snow on the ground. As night falls early in the day, you go off and run over to one of the local beer halls for a nice warm mulled wine and a good pork shoulder right by the fireplace. That's why people love Salzburg. How old are the graves? Let's see. This one's 1877. 1870. 1873. 1876. 1900. 1852. Wendy says, can you feel the spirits? No, I haven't had a good Negroni yet. Oh, you're talking about otherworldly spirits. No. It just feels nice. It's relaxing. It's a comfy bench. Plastic. You know, I wish it were wood. It should be wood for a cemetery like this. But it has a nice little bump here. Bump for my rump. A nice little bump for my rump. The back tilts slightly back. It's very good, and the views are just stunning, and it's peaceful and relaxing. Wow. You know, the plastic, it loses points. There is no bird poo, nor ghostly poo, luckily. I'm not sure if I would see ghostly poo, but it's a very, very beautiful area. And the bench is comfortable, despite being plastic. So, I would give this bench a very ethereal 7.7 out of 10. It should be wood. It would be higher if it were wood. That was amazing. Great cemetery. I really recommend going there. Is this the location where the Vom Trapp family was hiding? It's a good question. I don't think so. I think it was another graveyard. Yeah, I think it's another graveyard. Let me know. I think it's like slightly outside the city center. DS says Austria is famous for its coffee house culture. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Wow. So Salzburg definitely gets my recommendation. It might not be a full trip, but it's a worthy day trip for sure from Munich. If you are planning to come to Munich, definitely I would encourage you to include Salzburg. It's a great city. I really enjoyed my time here. I definitely could have crammed. If I weren't doing live videos, I could definitely done like 3 or 4 more locations. I could have gone up the mountain as well. So if you do come here, come very early in the day, because by 5 p.m. some of the museums are already starting to shut down. The castle shuts down by 6. The cable car to the mountain shuts down at 5. Restaurants close starting like around 8 p.m. So do come here very early, and then you'll have a good day trip. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this live video. Stay tuned. I'll be back live tomorrow, and then most likely one more day after that on Monday. Everyone, keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen.